Sadistic Penguin Studios presents the At the Show podcast with Tom Yumper Garcia.
Okay, you people sit tight, hold the fort, and keep the home fires burning. If we're not back by dawn, call the president.
And Tony Chalsa Burt.
I don't know this industry jargon, YP, MP, whatever, okay? All I know is that I cannot get a record contract. We cannot get a record contract unless I take these tapes.
It's almost time, so grab a drink, get your popcorn ready, and join the film discussion with two guys from Chicago talking movies.
Hello and welcome to another episode of the At the Show podcast. I'm one of your co-hosts, Tom Yumper Garcia, and I'm with my other co-host, the great Tony Sugarbaggy Burt. How you doing, my man?
I am doing good. How are you?
I am very, very good. It is Friday. It is the end of the week. I am just happy to have the end of the work week happen today.
It is. It has been a very, 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 very long week. And, what I really wanted to do, I don't know if you can hear this out there, but what I really wanted to do when you asked me how I was say this. I am barely breathing, but we have made it, my friend, and these horror movies are going to definitely be exciting to go through here. I think everything's horror we got here tonight. A lot of horror.
A lot of horror stuff.
A lot of horror stuff.
Horror. So today we are going to do some B movie horror films. We got some good ones. Going through our lists, when I was doing notes, I was just laughing at some of the clips I chose for them. All clips will be video, so if you are watching on the YouTubes, you will be delighted to see that we have video clips for them. And we got some discussion about what's going on in the world of film, as well as back of the VHS box and the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week. But like always, Tone, let's just get into our regular segment of what we've been watching, my friend.
Sounds good.
That's a me. And also, what were you just watching?
So what were you watching this week, Tone?
Two movies here I've been watching. It is Halloween season. I always like to watch. I kind of start like kind of horror, and then I kind of really dig deep into here. So what I started with was Predator 2. For some unknown reason, this was the movie that, my dad liked both Predator 1 and Predator 2, but he loved Predator 2 for some reason. And you know what? I love Predator 2 too. It doesn't get the love that Predator 1 gets. But honestly, I think Danny Glover really brings it in this movie. I think he brings it more than he does in Lethal Weapon. And the supporting cast is great too. Hector Elizondo is awesome. So is Bill Paxton. He's great in it too. And of course, come on, Gary Busey in one of the greatest
fucking alien.
That whole scene in that meat locker is like one of the coolest scenes like at that time in history when he like throws the thing but the movie itself, I find it to be a lot of cool set pieces taking place in the jungle of LA. That was very, very awesome the way they did the shooting. It did there's a lot of good visuals in it. Excellent movie all around. The ending is really, really cool. What do you think of Predator 2?
Oh, I love Predator 2.
Okay, good.
Big fan of Danny Glover.
He's great in it. Great in a lot of movies, definitely. He's great in Tenenbaums. He's good in so many different movies. Predator 2 is great. I also watched, if you have never seen it, it is a under the radar Wes Craven classic. Could fit in tonight's category. It is called Deadly Friend. It stars Christy Swanson, and this is one of those movies that I remember seeing at a very, very young age. And it's kind of like a teen horror movie. This new girl comes to town, starts befriending everybody, and you figure out she's not really a human. She's actually a robot. And then it just keeps going more and more crazy. She gets more crazy. I remember she like throws a basketball and like knocks somebody's head off. It just is very, very B movie hilarity, which is one of my favorites, especially at this time of year, just to put any of these movies on, put your feet up and not take it very seriously, but have a very good time.
I have not seen this movie in a very, very long time, but the premise always makes me laugh because basically the brain of a robot goes into a woman that's like kind of like paralyzed, I think she is.
Yeah, like it's like one of those things where like and it just kind of upends the whole entire because people are like, wow, you know, this is the new girl of the town. But like, and to be fair, when you really think about it, it's a huge precursor to a topic we're going to talk about a little while, AI, or not AI, just film in general and Terrence, but that's what we're going to get to. I didn't mean that. AI is what has been going on a lot in film, and now they have a actress that I don't know if you've seen this week that is going to she's going to get movie roles, but she's completely AI, and it's starting to upset some people. One person it's upsetting is, did you know who is the head of the Actors Guild now? Yeah.
Well, it was the nanny, and now who is it now?
It is your favorite sports movie, Rudiger.
Oh, God.
Sean Astin. But Sean Astin, most of these actors and actresses this week, Natalie Portman came out. Everybody is against this because that's not real art, they said, to take the place of a real actor or actress. I don't know. But again, this movie is kind of like a precursor to all that because people really buy into her. And when you find out your new friend is actually a creepy robot, which is what's cool, because like my favorite thing in the Terminator movies was that towards the end when he's fighting and the skin starts falling off and you could see the robot underneath him.
Mm-hmm.
It's not the same thing kind of happens in here. And Wes Craven, you know, he's always awesome.
Oh, definitely. Wes Craven's the king of horror, one of the kings of horror, man.
What have you been watching, my man?
Oh, dude, I got some films for you this week, buddy. So as you know, I do the 31 Days of Horror, and I always, go through some movies I haven't seen to see if I can maybe add them to a list for the upcoming years, just prepare my list in advance. And I decided to watch the 2016 Blair Witch. Now, I've never seen this movie. I watched the previous one, of course, like everybody else. I played the Blair Witch video game, and I thought it was very good. Very interesting. I thought it was a good computer game. So I decided to give this a watch. I thought going into it, it was a remake, but it's not. It's actually a sequel. And it's a sequel to Heather's brother, which is one of the main characters from the beginning from the first movie. He's trying to find out where she is, and he believes she's still in the woods. And he goes in there with a couple film students who are his friends and some people who took a video that they found where the house was. They go in there to try to find Heather, and all this stupid shit happens. And I have to tell you, I had to restart it like 4 times because it was so bad. I tried to give it, some love, but I mean, it has these tree monsters in it. The characters are not likable. I mean, Heather wasn't likable in the last one, but at least, you didn't like her. It's not creepy. It makes no sense. They don't really explain everything. There's a part where he tells her a woman there to stare in a corner and they won't do anything to you, which I'm like, are we supposed to stare in the corner for fucking ever? Or the house apparently just appears when it wants to appear. It's like a spaceship. It doesn't really explain anything about the witch or anything. Like, it's just propaganda bullshit sequel, and I wasted my time watching it. Have you seen this film?
Yes, I have. This is probably even, I remember seeing the original in the movie theater, and I know you like the movie. There's things for me that could have made the movie better. Now, it's been a long time since I've seen it, the original too, so I can't speak super highly on the original, but I can speak to this one that you are speaking about here, and it's not good at all. You ever see the sequel, Blair Witch 2?
Yeah, Book of Shadows. Yeah, I saw that in theater, actually. Oh my God, it was a waste of time too. But I would say at least that movie kind of gave something different because they were researching. This one was just horrible.
Yeah, and that's where I find the problem to be, is that at least Book of Shadows was something different. Sometimes that's one of your great videos that you've done for the 30 horror films in the month of October was your Exorcist 3, which is a movie that you're saying by the third one, this film series should really have fizzled out. But the way you presented that movie to me, I've never seen the movie, because even the way you presented it to me looks scary to me. I look like I'm going to be scared watching that. And to be fair, that's not I love to be scared, but I'm not like actively like Blair Witch, this movie here. It's not scary at all. As you stated, it's a waste of time. I was just trying to say you do really awesome videos, and check those
Thank
videos
you, my friend.
out. You're welcome.
My wife is afraid of possession movies too. She doesn't like anything with possession. We can't watch. Everything else, she's down.
Well, I think what really actually spooked me was that I found out in that stupid Dahmer series that was what he would be watching, like with the victims. And like in my head, that's where my empathy comes in. I'm like, this gotta be creepy. And like, it makes the movie just another creepy vibe over.
The actor who plays Chucky, I can't think of his name off the top
Brad
of my head.
Dourif.
Brad Dourif is so good in that film.
That's
so creepy. He probably gives some of the best monologues for intense monologues that anybody I've ever seen acting wise. He is phenomenal, and I just watch it. Tone. There's some funny parts in there. Like there's a part where there's like a dream sequence, and like Patrick Ewing's in it, and Fabio. It's just so random, but it's a very good movie. And you have George C. Scott in there too. He's really good.
Cast is loaded, and definitely going to watch it this holiday season.
Definitely check it out. This other film I watched, now this is a foreign film, and there's no actors in this film that really pulled me in, but the premise was very interesting. I was looking for something to watch one late night being 11 o'clock because I'm old, and the film I watched is called Baskin, and what pulled me into this plot was that it's 5 police officers who inadvertently wandered into hell. So I'm like, oh, and it was at the Toronto Film Festival. It was based off a short film that made the director Everall, that's his name, Everall, gave him a prominence, and I was looking at it, it's got like a 6.5 on IMDb, and so I'm like, you know what? If a film has that high, and it has like 78% approval ratings on Rotten Tomatoes, I'm like, it's gotta be kind of decent. Man, I watched this film, and it made no goddamn sense what was going on, man. Like these 5 officers who you do not like at all, they're not good people. They get a call to go to this place, I guess this part of town where there's these stories of bad things happening, but they never explain why. They happen to go into this old police station, and eventually they go into, I guess, the depths of hell where all these fucking people chained up, and it was like really weird. They get taken over, and one survives and then ends up dying. I'm giving it away the story because nobody's ever gonna watch this but me.
Is the Ninth Gate better?
Yes, 10 times better. There is a guy in this film, though, Tone. He plays the role of Baba, or the father. His name is Mehmet Sarahalug.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to show you a picture of this guy.
Ooh, I'm excited.
Now, this guy is creepy as hell. And it's not his fault. He has a skin disease. But they made him show up in this film. And this is him smiling. He's smiling here. But this is him right here.
Interesting. I see him up in the corner right there.
Yeah. He looks like a little alien guy. I can see if I can show him in Baskin, if they show the pictures of him in Baskin. Oh, yeah, this is him right here. Dude, when he came on Scream, I was like, what the hell? And I'm like, that has to be makeup. And then I looked it up, and no.
Where did you watch this movie on?
Yeah, I watched it on Prime.
Okay.
Yeah, he was a very creepy looking guy. And I don't know, man. I just couldn't. I tried to get into it. The story was just all over the place. It was trying to be like supernatural and paranormal and like psychological. It was just too many damn things going on, and I was just like, So if you want to be confused, check out Baskin. It's completely out there. You're not gonna like the main characters, but I mean, it was way the hell better than Blair Witch. I'll give it that. I mean, because it confused the hell out of me. I know what's going on. I actually had to read the plot again to kind of put pieces together. And when you do that with a film, I mean, that means the film's not that great. I just understand why it got so many high marks. And I like foreign horror films. You know, the Ringu is one I loved, but this one did not.
Didn't do it.
Yeah, it just didn't do it for me, man.
Well, sometimes that just happens. The cover's pretty cool to hear, though.
Yeah,
With
the
his
cover's
eyes.
cool. I mean, that guy looks creepy as hell.
Yeah. Yeah.
But it just made no sense. Yeah, that's what I kind of think it was, Brian. Sounds weird for the sake of being weird. It opens up pretty crazy too, like a kid coming out of his room and there's like a TV on, and
We got some good films tonight. Weird for being cool.
yeah,
Which will be awesome. And and it's also, I want to say tonight that one of the movies that you picked, it was the first time I audibly ever said the F word, because you picked a movie I really wanted to, and I'm excited that you picked it though. So it's going to be a good time.
yeah. But that is what we've watched this week. Let us know what you watched this week over at the Show podcast. Check us out on Facebook. We are also on Blue Sky Statistic Penguin Studios. Let us know there, or let us know in the comments here on YouTube's. With that, Tone, we're going to talk a little bit of current stuff going on now. For those who don't know, the United States has the president of the United States has announced that he plans to impose 100% tariff on all films produced outside the U.S. and imported into the U.S. market. He's floated this multiple times. Although something official hasn't happened, he's more serious about doing it than ever. Why is this bad, Tony?
Well, it's just very awful for the fact of, first of all, you don't really want anyone in government getting mixed up in the film business. That's just my opinion. Let's start there. Especially when you're talking about 100% tariffs. Anything with the word tariff in it isn't generally a good thing, from what my studies have told me. So you say 100%, and you also say to yourself, you just mentioned the amazing film Baskin. With those tariffs, you may not get Baskin, because it might be just too much expensive to get here.
Maybe it's a good thing then.
Maybe you know what, and what you got to do is pack up, Vin and Jen, and fly out to wherever it was made to see it, which you're not doing that. There we go, Turkey. But not good. Not a really a good thing at all. And it kind of scares good filmmakers probably from doing film.
Yeah, so that is perfect segue to things that he's trying to do. He's claiming he's trying to resurge the Hollywood income that he claims is bad. The issue is that if he does this, it's going to increase costs. Tariffs act like a tax, raising costs for studios. And that means higher consumer costs, which means higher ticket costs, higher rental costs, higher streaming costs. It could also discourage foreign investment, co-productions, and location shooting abroad. So it's going to raise taxes, which is not really going to save the ticket prices. It's going to raise them. And like one person from a Hollywood studio said, 100% tariff on films will not revive Hollywood's declining fortunes. It will raise ticket prices while cutting into studio budgets.
Foreign films.
Yeah, but on foreign films, while cutting into studio budgets, and imitating retaliatory measures. Another thing is digital distribution and intangible goods. A lot of film imports are digital streams or licensing deals, not physical goods crossing the border. So imposing tariffs on intellectual property, digital content is legally and operatively tricky. So there's ways you can't do it. It's also when it comes to increased costs, a lot of film studios use overseas for their production. What I mean is via effects, whether it be post production. You can, if we're going to do foreign films, what's a foreign film considered? Is it that is made overseas? Well, if we have a film that's set in China that's made by an American company, that's going to be considered a foreign film. So the next, I don't know, Paul Wes Anderson film or Clint Eastwood film or whatever is going to be $50 a ticket instead of $20 a ticket because of foreign cost.
It's kind of like that, but not. You're going to the super extreme, which could happen. But they are talking about foreign movies. They're talking about Baskin. They're talking about those movies. What he wants to do is take the money that whatever you were talking about, which you just were correct. Let's say the effects studios. What he wants to do is try to bring that shit back over here, which is not going to work because, as you stated, they've been using it for so long, which is not good. Just leave things the way they are, like I said. But like, take a movie like Sinners. That's not going to get no 100% tariff. Marvel movies, that's not going to get no 100% tariff. You know what's going to get 100% tariff? Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. That's going to get 100% tariff. And you're not going to be able to see that movie or the new Chow Yun-fat if that was coming here, because he wants to eliminate that stuff from coming, which is awful.
So what you're saying is a logical explanation, but his explanation wasn't that. That's why I actually looked it up, because I was thinking, okay, well, maybe it just affects like all the movies that are foreign. He doesn't really give
Well, he
a
also said he
definition
didn't
of
believe
foreign
in
versus
it.
domestic.
Well, he also said he wasn't going to do whatever that plan is, and now he is. He says a lot of things. My point is that the way the film industry is structured, he can't do what you're saying at all. He can't do unless he's literally only foreign money coming into the country is what he can manage. And that's really, but like film companies, let's take, for instance, a lot of film companies, yes, they outsource there, but they also outsource here at the same time. So they can move and mix and match. What's a foreign movie film company? I'm trying to think of.
Studio VX. So Studio E3D is one, and like you said, Marvel actually would be, because Studio 3D does their special effects.
Well, like
So-
that stuff's getting tariffed, but you're talking about, and tickets will go up, but they're not going to go up to $50. They're not going to.
No, that's like extreme. But I'm just saying they will go up.
They
The
will.
whole point is tariffs are
It's
just
not.
stupid. That's
They're-
just stupid.
They're really bad. But back to what I was saying is I've been watching movies since the late 80s. I've never heard of any kind of government official getting involved in what I love most, which is film and music. I mean, music, they've always kind of gotten involved a little bit, but film,
Chipper Gore.
that's what I was just about to say. But film, it's generally been like an art that, like, the president getting involved in it, no matter who the president is just stupid. I agree
Listen,
with you.
we're not a political show. This is about movies. We're here to have fun. But when stuff like this is talking about
What we
stuff's gonna
love.
affect them, the movie, you have to go and do your own research.
Mhm.
This is something he's saying. Like Tony and I both broke down and said he can't do certain things, but don't be
Doesn't stop 'em, though. Yeah.
saying he can't, because he's already proven he doesn't give a shit about what stuff he can't do. But just a heads up, this is something he's talking about. The California governor did say this. This move is 100% stupid. So we can end this segment with that. But just know that this is what's being tossed around. So if you want to find out about it, there's a bunch of good sites to go to that are explaining this and what he can and cannot do. But like I said, a lot of what he's saying, there's still no definite definition of
That's
what is
true.
what. So it's fuzzy.
Very
So it's just going
fuzzy.
to create more headaches than it would opportunities for profit.
The fuzz.
The fuzz. So we just wanted to touch on that because that was something that he pushed a couple days ago. Oh my goodness! But let's clean the palette here, Tom. Let's clean the palette,
All right, let's do it.
and let's do a back of the VHS box horror style today.
Let's do it.
Oh, I almost played the wrong video. My goodness, where the hell is the back of the VHS box, Tom?
I don't know.
Oh,
It's got to be there.
oh
It's
my
got to be
God.
there.
Here we go.
The bat, the Vita fakes pumps. The bat, the Vita fakes pumps. The bat, the Vita fakes pumps.
All right, here you go, Tom. A family vacation at a remote hotel turns into madness when isolation, alcohol, and a sinister presence push a father past the point of no return.
What year? I mean, what years are we talking here? 90s, 80s, 70s, 60s, 50s,
80s.
80s. Say it one more time.
A family vacation at a remote hotel turns into madness when isolation, alcohol, and a sinister presence push a father past the point of no return.
Oh man, I think you're going to get me here, but this sounds awesome. I know the movie. What is it?
The Shining.
You said it at a cap. You said it. What? Say it again one more time.
Ready? Here we go.
Yeah.
A family vacation at a remote hotel turns into a madness when isolation, alcohol, and a sinister presence push a father past the point.
It wasn't a
of no return.
vacation. That's wrong. It wasn't a
wasn't.
vacation. It was he was going there to work, to watch the cabin. A vacation would be,
Yeah, but he sold it to them as a vacation. He's like, it'll be a vacation.
well, it could be, but that's what threw me off. But you got me. Good job.
I can give you one more here.
Please.
Let's see if you know.
Please do.
How about a group of survivors hole up in a farmhouse as the dead claw their way back to life. But inside, human panic may be deadlier than the ghouls outside.
Demon Knight?
No. This film was in the 1960s. Close though.
Oh man. You got me again. What is
Night
it?
of the Living Dead.
Wow. You got me. Good job. Two. My record now is 1-7. No, I'm 1-4. 1-3.
Yeah. So that's back in the VHS box. Brian looks like he got it. And then The Shining. You got The Shining because they wouldn't want to get sued. But let's just go straight into our movies, man. We love B horror movies. We love all movies that are wacky and out there. And Tone, let's just go into our first movie here to kick us off. I just love that stare from that guy in that part. 1988's Maniac Cop, directed by William Lustig, who did Uncle Sam, Maniac Cop 2 and 3, Maniac, and Vigilante. Apparently, he had a lot of love with Maniac as the title of his films. It's starring the great Tom Atkins, man, Bruce Campbell, the B movie star, Lawrence London, and Robert Zedar. Had a budget of 1.1 million and made a box office of 671K. I did this movie for 31 Days of Horror. This movie does not get enough love in terms of wackiness. It's basically about a cop who was wrongly convicted and sentenced, and he gets killed in the shower and basically takes out all his frustration on crime and actually good people as well. He's all scarred up, as that video showed you. Robert Zedar, if you guys don't know him, he's been in a lot of films in the early 90s and late 80s. He has a really big chin. His nickname was The Chin, and that's what Bruce Campbell's nickname is as well. His makeup is pretty good, but I saw him talking about the film, and he talks very eloquently. Like he's very elegant in everything he talks, and very like great delivery. You would think he would have like a rough voice. He's like very he's like a gentle giant. And you have Tom Atkins, who's from, of course, Halloween 3. He doesn't have sex with random people in here, like in Halloween 3. But
he's not a good father, like he was in Creepshow either.
Yeah, he wasn't a good father in that film either. But he's a cop that goes against the Maniac Cop. And Bruce Campbell's just a cop that gets framed for the Maniac Cop's murders, and then has to take on the Maniac Cop. Totally crazy shit. Totally 80s. I love this film, Tone. What do you think about it?
Oh, it's a great movie. Great movie. A lot of classic, as you mentioned, actors in it. I'll always remember going to visit my buddy out in California, and he had to go to work during the day, and I just got to sit around his apartment. And I remember always sitting there and just watching Maniac Cop and being like, I'm in California watching Maniac Cop. This is amazing. Because the movie is something that not a lot of people see. It's not, if you're a horror movie fan, you should have definitely saw it. But like a movie fan, they might not have seen this one. But it is definitely awesome and great B-movie horror.
Yeah, and they made 3 of them.
How are the sequels?
Part 2 actually has a cool part where he comes like they're shooting at the what's it called? The gun range.
Hmm.
And like somebody's shooting at it and he walks from the darkness into the light, which I think is a kind of cool shot.
Oh,
But
that's
they're all
cool.
bad.
They're all bad.
They're all so bad they're good, put it
They're
that way.
so bad. They're good. I like it.
My cousin and I would watch this every time we hung out for like 10 years. It's one of
Very
those
cool.
films, man. One of those films.
It's got just awesome. It's a cool plot. Let's put it to you that way. The idea of having a quote unquote maniac cop. I mean, it's like Jason or Freddy, but he's just now a maniac cop. It's pretty cool.
And the crazy thing is, Robert Zedar actually who plays Maniac Cop, worked as a Chicago police officer before acting. The director's name is William Lustig. He's actually the nephew of Jake LaMotta, who is the Raging Bull, and he actually does a cameo in here as a detective.
You didn't knock me down, right?
Yeah, Jake LaMotta has a cameo. So does Sam Raimi. He has a cameo as a parade reporter. I remember when I saw Sam Raimi, I was like, "Holy shit, Sam Raimi!" This film is ridiculously out there, totally 80s. Check it out. Spoiler alert: Tom Atkins, even though he has top billing, gets killed like 2/3 through the movie. So it's a
I
Bruce
really
Campbell
like a
story.
lot of the dark alley shots in this movie. Like when you
Mhm.
see him from afar, and you're like, you just see like his silhouette or whatever, and you're like, it's the maniac cop.
Yeah, when he starts choking that chick, I was like, I'm like, what the hell's going on? Yeah, definitely check it out. It's definitely out there. But let's move on to your film, my friend. If I can find you.
Where are my men?
I've got several right here.
Fuck's this?
They're balls.
Their balls. 2007's Planet Terror, directed by Robert Rodriguez, who did Machete 1 and 2, Desperado and Mariachi, Once Upon a Time in Mexico, Sin City 1 and 2, From Dusk Till Dawn, and Spy Kids trilogy. It stars Rose McGowan, Freddie Rodriguez, Bruce Willis, Jeff Fahey, Michael Biehn, Marley Shelton, and Josh Brolin. It had a box office of 11 million. Tone, tell me about Planet Terror, my friend.
Planet Terror is it was released at the movie theater at the same time as Death Proof, the Quentin Tarantino movie. So which was like it was like 3 hours and 45 minutes for both of them together. Planet Terror came first, and Planet Terror was just loaded with lots of action. And honestly, the trailer showing, Rose McGowan with the machine gun leg, I thought that just was like, what's this going to be about? Michael Biehn, you mentioned him, Jeff Fahey. Some really good, ridiculous performances in this movie. Bruce Willis. I like it because it reminds me of like an old 1970s, creature feature type of movie. The graphics are really, FX are really on point, I think, in this movie. I find the movie, I liked it better than Death Proof. Because when you sit through a movie like this that's got a lot going on and it's very action filled, and then you got to sit through Death Proof, which doesn't start out pretty fast, it's slow. I thought it was like a rise to a little bit of a slower Tarantino, but this movie is just cool in a lot of different ways. I'm a big Freddie Rodriguez fan. He was excellent in 6 Feet Under, one of my favorite shows of all time. So to see him get a lead role was something that I think is cool. Jeff Fahey is great. He has been in some really ridiculous horror movies from the past. I don't know if you've ever seen some of those Psycho sequels, Yump, but I believe he's in Psycho 3. And he says one of the lines that are probably one of the most ridiculous horror lines in any movie. He says, you know what, I'm not gonna share it on here. It's too graphic. I'll share it later. But the movie itself here is just really awesome. And I think there are just a lot of different just set pieces too. And that's kind of why I enjoy it. Robert Rodriguez, I always put him very high on my list. He could have just made like this, Desperado, The Faculty, and I would have still said he's one of my faves. I think this is a pretty good movie.
Yeah, it is actually a really good movie. I actually concur with you. I prefer Planet Terror over Death Proof, even though my guy Kurt Russell's in Death Proof.
Yeah.
Uh,
Oh, yeah.
this movie is a zombie kind of based film, and the cool thing is it's a nod to old Grindhouse films. And if you guys don't know the Grindhouse films, those are kind of films that came out in the '70s, and he does it in a funny way because Bruce Willis. I remember when this came out, Bruce Willis was like advertised like hell for this film. Him and Rose McGowan. And I think Bruce Willis is like in this film for like 5 minutes,
Is that there?
which is great. And then he did that because that's what happened in the Grindhouse marketing. They wouldn't like say a big name star is going to be in it, and then they'll only shoot like a few scenes, and then they wouldn't, they just basically get people to come in to watch. Uh, I love the premise of the film. Robert Rodriguez always has a distinct, idea of making something interesting that you never thought of before. Like, who thought of a fucking woman having her leg chopped off and then having a gun? You know what I mean? Machine gun. That's just, he used to be a stripper and now she's shooting people. Machete, the first one, even Machete 2, even though I didn't like it, he still has some, different ideas. Dust Till Dawn, he shows you his talents there. The Faculty. One cool thing about this film, though, Tone, is when I was doing research for it, Josh Brolin, who was, of course, in Goonies, his career kind of had like a fall off after Goonies, which, I mean, he was a child actor, but he was broke. He got this film to do, make some money, and then said he was like really, really hurt for money. He heard about this film called No Country for Old Men, and he actually did his audition tape on set with Robert Rodriguez and Tarantino directing him.
That's awesome.
So he got him the role, and then basically like saved his career in terms of financially, which he automatically like credits so much the Coen brothers for doing that for him. But
he's awesome in this movie too. That was what I wanted to say. I forgot to even bring him up. His whole doctor, with his wife, and there's like some really kind of like gruesome scenes with him, which I really enjoy.
Yeah, just a crazy zombie film that keeps you. It's action packed, good pacing, and it's kind of hard to do. And this is after Sin City, so he kind of got into the the way of pacing something good that's dark. I do love the effects of the film, the way it's shot. It's kind of like an acid look to the filter.
Yeah.
And it's pretty cool. He's very good with filters too. Like Sin City, when he has the comic book feel, or even just like the showing of just one color, like the yellow guy's blood, or just stuff like that is awesome. And I think Rodriguez is really, really talented when it comes to things like that. When we talk about Tarantino being the king of dialogue, Rodriguez to me will probably be the king of style in terms of styling shots and making things look a certain way. I think he does it better than anyone, in my opinion.
Well, just know that there was a lot of time, Jump, just know that I was out there fighting a fight where I was arguing that Rodriguez was better than Tarantino in a room. It was just me against like 8 people. And I really believe that like the problem with Rodriguez is because he's dedicated himself doing some awesome stuff for children like Spy Kids. It's taken some films off the board that if he had just about 2 or 3 more real solid punches, he'd be, think about just as highly as Tarantino. I just think he's a really good filmmaker because he can do so many different things.
Yeah, he does a lot of sequels. That's kind of 2 things too. He likes to continue his stories, and Tarantino doesn't really.
It's true too.
But he's very, very good. He's very underrated for somebody. Like, I think it's because he gets overshadowed by Tarantino, but he's like a heavyweight in his own right. Should get more respect and do something out of his comfort zone. Maybe in the future we'll see him doing some more cool stuff.
Yeah.
But Planet Terror, really, really good film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. Shout out to Freddie Rodriguez. He is a Chicago boy. He's also one of my favorite films, Nothing But the Holidays.
Oh, very cool.
Yeah. Good pick, Tone. I was excited when I saw that one. But this one I picked just because it reminded me of high school.
Get back! Eight-legged freak! Oh my God, this is so happening! How did I get up here? I'm afraid of heights.
2002's Eight-Legged Freaks, directed by Elroy Ikaiyim. I'm sorry if I pronounced that wrong, but I mean, you're on, I have to say your name. He only made 3 films worth noting: They Nest, Return of the Living Dead, Necropolis, and Return of the Living Dead: Rave to the Grave.
Mm.
This film stars David Arquette, Carrie Wurr, Scott Terra, Scarlett Johansson, and young Scarlett Johansson, Dougie Doug, Rick Overton, and Leon Rippey. It had a box office of 45 million and a budget of 30 million. Why I say this film reminds me of high school is because my high school girlfriend really wanted to see this film for some reason. I think she was infatuated with David Arquette, and I like David Arquette in Ready to Rumble, but he is not a great actor at all. And I think he's just too overexpressive. In this film, he's extremely overexpressive. He overdoes a lot of things, but this film I thought was gonna be horrible, and I really, really enjoyed it. I like the premise of him coming back to a town, and like these spiders got kind of into some toxic waste that the mayor was kind of putting in the mines that nobody wanted to go into anymore because there was methane in there, and it kind of had a good little premise to it. The graphics are CGI are pretty bad now, but back then it looked cool. It had a lot of comedy in it. Some ostriches, and they were eating ostrich burgers, which I always thought was funny. It was a really cool concept, and I liked it. There's a lot of nods to other films like Revenge of the Body Snatchers, even stuff on Field of Dreams, when the mayor's like, if you build it, they will come, because he's always trying these crazy schemes to get stuff done. And then you have Dougie Doug, who plays the crazy character of a radio guy who's a conspiracy theorist, and he's kind of like the premise for Three Dog for the Fallout people. If you don't know who Three Dog is, he is in Fallout 3, and he does the conspiracy theory on the radio station. Like you can actually meet him, Three Dog, in Fallout. But yeah, check this one out if you haven't seen it. Tone, what do you think about Eight-Legged Freaks?
This was the movie I alluded to that you picked, that I was so angry because as soon as you said about a couple of weeks ago we should do the B movies, I go, Eight-Legged Freaks. That's the first one that came to my head. I didn't see this movie when it came out because, first of all, I was kind of like you. I was like, David Arquette, what is this? This is stupid. Again, Yump, I always can think that you could have been a younger, Burt brother. Because like what really this is like I would watch my father watch so many old 1950s horror movies like Them with like the big ants, anything with cool creatures coming to life. And I came home and he was just watching this. What do you call that? Is she down at the park right here? They should have stopped by at the house.
The Pokemon.
Yeah,
The Pokemon
I got some good food down there, Yump. You should have canceled and went. No, but the movie definitely is awesome because it throws back to those old movies. And I had walked in on him watching this movie, and he was just like, "This movie's awesome. It's like those old movies, And then I was just like, "Let me watch this." And I started watching it, and it was like what you just described. It was fun. It was funny. And Arquette plays his role of what he's supposed to in this movie. I mean, you're not asking him to do anything more but just be stupid and scream and be very expressive. It doesn't work much in much else. But it's also cool to see a young Scarlett Johansson in this movie and her performance because you know what her career goes on to be. So just a really, really cool, awesome film. So I really am glad you picked it because if all of the movies we talk about, it's definitely one that showcases a really good B movie effect.
Yeah, it reminds me of I think it was in the 1950s, a giant spider that in the black and white that's coming down the town and like terrorizing the town.
Yeah.
It gives me a lot of those feels for old cinema, the old monster cinema that were like B-level cinema. I remember watching a movie that was in the 60s about these giant rabbits. That just took over these giant. I remember watching. I'm like, what the hell? And they're like giant bunny rabbits that just took over this town and were eating people and whatnot because they ran out of food to eat. So they became carnivores. But it's kind of cool that these films can still draw in the crowds, and I like this concept was something that was pulling from the old and making something good out of it.
Yeah.
There was supposed to be a sequel done. They announced in 2003, but they didn't end up doing it. They just scrapped it, which probably for the better.
Probably. You know, sometimes it's good only leaving the one and you get the good memory instead of bad sequels.
Yeah, I mean, David Arquette had to keep doing his character from Scream.
Dewey.
Dewey, yeah, Dewey had to be there.
I like Doofy more from this
Doofy.
from the
Scary movies.
Yeah, those movies.
He's supposed to come back or something like that. That's what the new scare. The Wayans brothers have taken over the scary movies again.
I know. That's going to be exciting.
So he's supposed to come back. But this next film, Tone, I'm gonna be honest, I have never seen it, so I was dying to hear your explanation.
I'm ready.
Jake! Jake! Jamie!
That part just made me laugh. I was looking for clips. 1986, The Wraith, directed by Mike Marvin, who did Hamburger, the motion picture, Sunstorm, and Wishman. It stars Charlie Sheen, Nick Cassavetes, Cheryl Fiennes, Randy Quaid, and Matthew Berry. It had a budget of $2.7 million and made a box office of $3.5 million. Tell me about this film. Like, why'd you pick this one?
Oh, these movies again, like the one thing that was definitely again prevalent in my childhood was my dad had a lot of hot rods. He restored hot rods. It was always about like fast cars. So this movie, honestly, I would best describe it. It's not really, but it's like a horror Fast and Furious in a way. But this movie actually, Yump, is really, really a cool movie. There is that part at the end there, which we're going to get to here in a second. I'm really good at playing that whole scene. I'm not going to do it for you tonight, but whenever you see me, I do the whole Jake, Jamie. But there's a whole twist to the movie. If you're not familiar who Nick Cassavetes is either, his dad was John Cassavetes, very famous director. Nick himself has directed Alpha Dog. He's directed The Notebook, but in this movie, he plays a real scumbucket. It's kind of like what ends up happening is a guy gets murdered in the beginning and he comes back pretty much to avenge his death. Do you know what a wraith is by chance off the top of your head?
The only thing I can think about is like a wraith in like Gears of War or something, like a mechanical thing.
It's another, which they say it in the movie, it's another term for a ghost.
Okay.
So pretty much like what ends up happening is this car shows up and it looks like it's from the future. And all these guys who killed him a long time ago have hot rods. So what he ends up doing is he starts pretty much racing them to their deaths. I don't want to give anything else away because there's some twists and there's some turns and you could kind of tell along the way where it's heading. But the movie itself is actually for Charlie Sheen, because he's having a little bit of a resurgence right now. It really is. It's a really good movie for him. And it doesn't get talked about at all. It's a great movie for Randy Quaid because it's about the only time in my life I've ever seen Randy Quaid play serious and play serious well. Like he does a good job. He's like the sheriff trying to put together everything that's going on. You want the B movie of ridiculous. Clint Howard brings it in this movie more than you've ever seen him, even in The Ice Cream Man, which I think Brian mentioned earlier. This movie, out of all the movies, I've never asked you before, but next year when you're making a list for your 30 days of horror, I really highly suggest you pick this movie because this movie is extremely awesome. And out of a lot of the movies we've ever talked about, this is definitely one that I really think that you should watch because I think you'd love it.
Yeah, I just looked up Clint Howard's name is Rughead.
Yes. The characters that are all in this movie, you're going to end up talking about in a while. That guy at the end that you played the scene, that's the brother of the guy who died at the beginning. So what ends up happening is Charlie Sheen shows up at the same time around as this car shows up. And he's like the new hot guy in town. And everybody is like, people start to say, oh, wait a minute. This guy kind of reminds me of the guy who got murdered a long time ago. But then a whole bunch of other stuff starts happening. But like the acting in this movie, it's not. What's really crazy about it is you mentioned the budget. And for that time, $2 million isn't cheap. So you could see it in the movie. You could see it's actually a greatly filmed movie. And what's shocking is that whoever directed this didn't make more. It didn't make more money. I think if it's revisited by a lot of more people. Now, is it necessarily straight horror? No. It's more like psychological horror, I could call it. But just some really great performances and a movie that definitely hard to see or hasn't been seen a lot for that reason. I mean, I found it in a Walgreens in one of those thin plastic DVD cases. And I actually found it with The Gate. And I remember, and The Gate's great. So like, you'll like it if you watch it. That's about my biggest, highest regard of the movie I can say. And honestly, I've one that I've wanted to tell you about for a long time. So I was glad you picked this subject because it's being the fact of like just all of these actors together and some of the stuff that's going on, but it's put together pretty well.
Yeah, so it kind of like looking at the reviews, listening to you talk about it, it looks very interesting. I just thought it was funny. Just that ending part just made me laugh, and I'm like, what is Tony trying to get me to watch here? But I was even talking to my brother earlier. I was like, just I usually call him on the Friday when he's going home from work. And I'm like, you ever hear this movie called The Wraith? And he's like, no. And he's like, check it out. If Tony's telling you to do it, I'm like, yeah. Where can I watch this? Can I watch this on Prime or?
You know what? I'll tell you here in a second. I mean, I definitely, and if you can't find it, I will. This is something I will definitely drive my DVD out to you to watch. But it's got to be on Prime to rent, or it's got to be on something free. I would think on Freebie. Let's see here. It is Tubi free.
Oh, okay.
Pluto free. Amazon, it's free if you got Amazon. Fubo free if you got a subscription. It looks like it's on a lot of things. I mean, when you look at the ratings here, I mean, 86% like this movie. So it's one of those, we talk about them here. You mentioned you got one coming up here I haven't seen that you're going to sell me on. These are like those under the radar, really cool movies that you don't always get to see, and especially Charlie Sheen. I mean, this is before Major League even. This is before pretty much everything. I mean, it's pretty good.
Yeah, and the actress Charlene Finn,
Fatal Instinct.
Yeah, but she reminds me though of a lot of even though Jennifer Connelly is still kind of her age, that she always I always get her mixed up with Jennifer Connelly. They have a lot of they look very, very similar.
They do. And she's worth watching the movie for.
Yeah.
She's not alone.
She's a good looking girl. She's also in Twin Peaks. That's where I know her from.
That's what else she is from. She is great in that too. You're going to see some really ridiculous characters, and honestly, if it was only Randy Quaid and Clint Howard alone, I'd tell you to watch this movie.
And the ending, tonight.
Please do. And the ending, it makes sense, and you might even tear. Honestly, it tears up because how the guy at the end who's crying is pretty much the dope in the whole is like just an idiot in the movie, not like a bad guy. He's just an idiot. But like at the end, he it all comes together. It's kind of really cool. So check it out. Hopefully you'll enjoy it. At the very least, let me be honest with you. You're going to listen to some good, awesome music. Ozzy's on the soundtrack, and you're going to have some laughs with Randy and everybody else.
Cool. I'll definitely check it out.
Please do.
All right. He sold me on that one. So let's go into our next film here.
We're blown! So reach through the door. I love a coward.
I love that character. 1990s Nightbreed, directed by Clive Barker, who's only really directed a couple of films, one being Hellraiser and the other Lord of Illusions. A lot of his films have, the films that he's associated with have been from his short stories and turned into films. This film stars Craig Schaefer, David Cronenberg, Anne Bobby, Charles Hyde, and Doug Bradley. This movie had a budget of $11 million and a box office of $9.4 million. For those who have watched my 31 Days of Horror series this year, Nightbreed was actually my second film that I put on the list. The rest gave me a reason to talk about it today because it's a film that I love that doesn't really get talked about enough. And the reason being is we used to read a lot of Clive Barker's books. Books of Blood is one of the things that I used to read as along with the Hellraiser, Broken Heart short story I read. Rawhead Rex is actually a really, really cool story that he wrote. The movie is horrible, but the story is actually more scarier than the movie. His description of him, and it kind of has Rawhead Rex actually kind of has a connection to this film with the Nightbreed. Reason being is this is based off a book called Cabal, and it's about a city where monsters live. Those who are cursed live here. They're not bad people; they're just monsters, and they live in a cemetery in a city called Cabal. And they have basically a god they call Baphomet, who tells them what to do, and you can be brought in and taken there. There's a lot of people there that are Mr. Frost with Jeff Goldblum. I think it's with Michael Keaton, isn't it? Anyway, they basically are brought there to, assimilate, and they're outsiders. This film basically builds up a lot of awesome feelings of being an outsider and how it is being an outsider. You have this character named Boone who thinks he's actually responsible for killing people, but it turns out that his psychiatrist, who's played by David Cronenberg, is actually the person killing people. David Cronenberg just steals the show for this film for me. He is awesome as Dr. Decker. He has a button-faced mask tone. It's pretty creepy. The character designs, the monsters, the way they look is really, really done well. The shots that are shown when you're going through the maze of Cabal, the city, when they're underground, it's called Midian. When they're going on through the city of Midian, where all the different creatures live, they're all uniquely designed. They're all really, really cool. And some are disgusting. There's a woman who has quills. There's a person who has these little things that come out of his stomach. There's this one that looks like a little devil. You have that guy right there. I forget his name, but he is basically turns into a beast that eats people. You got the moon face guy. I remember watching this as a kid, and I didn't know what the hell was going on. I just love the fact that it had these crazy creeper monsters in there. Now that I'm older, I can really appreciate that this is one of those films that became a cult classic and should be seeked out by monster lovers and horror freaks, just for a David Cronenberg performance alone. The bad thing is this film, when it got first released, the original cut was cut so bad it didn't really make a lot of sense until later they restored most of Clive Barker's original vision into the director's cut or the Cabal cut. Now, if you actually look on YouTube, you can actually find the full 3-hour cut with scenes that weren't even added in the Cabal cut that were now added later in there, which is it's for free. Check this one out if you haven't seen it, Tony. I don't know how much more I could sell it to you, but you would really like it. And the way that Rawhead Rex actually connects to this film is there's these creatures called the Berserkers they lock up, and they're what they say, they're berserkers. They're beings that are not dead or alive. They're just bad things, so they lock them up to keep everyone safe. And at the end, they release them because these people are trying to come kill them. They think they're freaks. They want to kill them, so they release them to help fight off this army of sheriffs and whatnot. And Clive Barker has gone on to say that Rawhead Rex is a berserker that got loose. That's why he kind of fits into the story. If you haven't seen this film, check it out. Like I said, the character design is A+. It still holds up to today. You can actually watch this film on Netflix for free if you have it. What about Tone? Have I convinced you any way to watch this one?
Oh yeah, I mean, this wasn't the movie I was talking about. I think it's your next one, the one that starts with a B, that I haven't seen. This one, it's been a long time since I haven't seen it, and you've convinced me to watch this one too. This one, what I remember by it is I was 9 when I first saw this movie, and it was whoa for my mind for being 9 years old, really. And honestly, Clive Barker does good work. Lord of the Illusions is a pretty good, solid film. His work in just special effects is great alone. So yes, you definitely did sell me on this one. I think I'm going to check it out on Netflix this weekend, definitely.
Yeah,
because I need to get. It's trippy, and I like some trippy horror. Let me ask you a question. How would you compare it to like The Cell?
Cell, it's kind of like the same kind of ideology in terms of horror, but The Cell is more psychological, while this film is more. Um, it does like push in the psychological front in the beginning, but this is more of a, I guess, more fantasy than is anything.
cool.
Even though The
Well,
Cell
that's
can't
even
be
awesome.
real,
Yeah.
but the difference is that you have like a Cell-like character in David Cronenberg. The crazy
Okay.
thing is David Cronenberg is actually a psychiatrist in this film, which
Okay.
is why it's funny.
Yeah.
But
Okay. I'm gonna definitely dig in, and I'll definitely be one of my movies we'll talk about soon.
yeah, the best example of a film, it's like the X-Men. Like this is
Okay.
like, so they said like people have said this is like
Horror
the best
X-Men?
horror X-Men ever made, the best
Okay.
one.
I like that. That sounds cool.
Yeah, check it out, my man.
Very awesome.
But let's move on to one of your films, which I love, by the way.
You're wasting your life making shit! Nobody cares! These movies are terrible!
1994's Ed Wood, who directed Beetlejuice, was directed by Tim Burton, who directed Beetlejuice, Pee-wee's Big Adventure, Edward Scissorhands, Big Fish, Batman, Batman Returns, and Mars Attacks, to name a few films. It stars Johnny Depp, Martin Landau, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Patricia Arquette. It had a budget of $18 million and a box office of $5.8 million. Tell me about Ed Wood.
Well, first of all, Ed Wood was the king, I think, or one of the kings of making some really ridiculous B movies a long time ago. Plan 9 from Outer Space, Glenn or Glenda, just to name a few. This movie does a really, really great job at just showing all of what went into making those pictures a long time ago. I think out of all of Tim Burton's movies, this one kind of floats probably pretty far under the radar. I mean, not a lot of people talk about, which is crazy because Martin Landau won an Oscar for this movie. And you say to yourself, his performance as Bela Lugosi, to me, it's just haunting because, like, a lot of these actors, like a Bela Lugosi, you're thinking at the end of his life, he's living in these huge mansions. And just watching this movie, you learn a little bit more of their backstory of what was really going on. And, I think this is one of Johnny Depp's better performances because he has to really get into this really quirky character. The whole movie is quirky. It's odd. It's not scary, but it's definitely what it is it's showing you the behind the scenes of one of the B movie greats.
Yeah, Ed Wood is by far one of the B movie greats. It's, to me, Martin Landau steals the show for the whole film. I love Johnny Depp. I love a man crush, I guess, on Johnny Depp films. I love Johnny Depp and his acting. But this is like Martin Landau makes you feel so sorry for Lugosi, but also sees Lugosi's demons in this film as well. And for those who don't know, Lugosi actually, like Tony kind of brought it up, he was broke towards the end of his life. And he was taking B-level movies to not only support financially, but he also was a heroin addict. Yeah, I love Mordecai. Great film. But he, he passed on the role of Frankenstein during the movie monster, rise after Dracula because he didn't want to spend all that time in the makeup, and that gave rise to Boris Karloff, who ended up surpassing him in terms of bigger movie star. And it kind of shows you how his career ended up. They had a film where one of his last films was with Karloff, and Karloff kills him like right in the beginning of the film. Like, so it's basically like a waste of his talents.
The way he yells in this movie about
Yeah.
Karloff is great. Karloff couldn't smell my shit.
Yeah, and like there's rumors that they had a big rivalry. This film kind of like plays into the fire of those rumors, so it's not known if they really did. But they did. One of his best roles that nobody ever talks about is he was in, I think it was it Bride of Frankenstein, where he plays Igor.
Yes.
Yeah, so he did a great job as Igor. He was hunting. I always remember that part when he's awesome. He actually played Frankenstein later in Frankenstein versus the Wolfman. But Bela Lugosi, a legend when it comes to horror. We wouldn't have the way Dracula talks without Bela Lugosi. Uh, Dracula was the whole persona that we get today of how Dracula being with that accent is because of Bela Lugosi's accent. A white zombie, you wouldn't have that band name or Rob Zombie because unless it wasn't for Bela Lugosi because of the film White Zombie. That's another film that people should check out. White Zombies is ridiculously good for a horror film. But back to this film, Ed Wood, B movie director, but was totally out there and wacky, man. I think he cross dressed, right? But
Yeah, he did. That's what
Yeah.
like Glenn or Glenda was about. Which you're telling yourself, let's be honest, how awesomely groundbreaking it is in the 50s
Yeah.
to make a movie about that, you know, and it's pushing the boundaries. And that being said, for Tim Burton to even say, hey, you know what, in the middle of my illustrious career, okay, I don't have the list in front of me of where this was. I think it's got to be right after Batman Returns, coming really close. So saying, oh, you know what, I'm going to make a movie about Ed Wood. I mean, who's asking for this? But he does it, you know what I mean? And obviously, by the numbers you said, it wasn't a huge success, but there's some really good comic gold in this movie. That's what I remember watching it with my friends and laughing. Like when Ed Wood would film, you could definitely see like the string, and they'd be like, Ed, we could see the strings. Like, just leave it in there. It's fine. But it made it look even more hokey instead of just trying to clean it up. It was just a really hilarious time period too for movies to be doing stuff like that.
And Landau, who won the Oscar, was the first time an Oscar was given for an actor portraying another actor, a movie star with Bela Lugosi. This is also the only film of Tim Burton's to win an Oscar for an acting role, which I think is pretty crazy considering how long he's been directing. And it was Tim Burton's first R-rated film.
Really? I didn't know that.
Yeah. Really, really shot well. This is like Johnny Depp in his prime. Like his run. That's the thing too. Like if you ever look at characters, that's why I think I like Johnny Depp so much, because he plays oddball characters, but he can also play like interesting characters like George Young from Blow, or even though you didn't like it, John Dillinger, from Public Enemies. He has such a wide range for an actor. He's a weird guy, don't get me wrong, but he does very, very good job playing different roles, like
I'm
Edward
with you.
Scissorhands.
There isn't, and to be fair, I would sit down with Sam and we'd watch Mordecai, and I know Sam, we'd laugh in the stupidity of it. But like, I'm with you. I mean, I'm a really big fan of Black Mass, one of his newer movies. But during this time period, he has two movies that actually are pretty good B movies in their own right. Have you ever seen The Astronaut's Wife?
Yeah.
With Charlize Theron, where like the alien comes and it's kind of creepy. And then Nick of Time with Christopher Walken. Both of these movies, again, along this time with Ed Wood. Johnny Depp can act, he is a little weird recently, but his movies, he does usually show up.
Yeah, you think of like Dead Man as one other film that shot in black and white.
Great movie.
That doesn't get talked about a lot. He'd be a good person to do a career retrospective in the future on.
Definitely.
Because he has such a long range of movies, The Ninth Gate, of course, Don Juan DeMarco, Fear and Loathing, which is probably his more famous ones, Benny and June. Nobody really talks about Benny and June. I always like when he does the potato dance, the Charlie Chaplin potato dance. Always cracks me up. And then, of course, he did Pirates of the Caribbean.
What do you feel about those movies? Are you a fan of those movies?
I actually like them all the way up until I didn't watch the new one.
He does a good job in the role.
Oh yeah, I actually the story actually was kind of good. When they brought back Barbossa, it didn't make sense to me how he got brought back, but I liked the character of Jeffrey Rush, so I was like, okay. I didn't watch the new ones, the one with the Fountain of Youth. I didn't watch that one. And I guess there's rumors that he might be coming back. I don't know.
That's what I've heard, but we'll have to see.
Yeah, I don't know. But Vincent D'Onofrio's in here too. He plays Orson Welles, which is pretty.
He does a good job into that. Bill Murray's ridiculous in this movie. I'll always remember we would laugh so hard because he's like, I'm going to be going to Mexico. He goes, I'm going to be going to Mexico. I had never heard it being called Mexico before until I watched this movie. Now I always say Mexico. He's like, I'm going to Mexico for a
Bunny
section.
Breckenridge.
Ridiculous in this movie.
Yeah, his movie's great. If you haven't seen it, like, it's not really a horror film. It's a film that shows B movie horror.
There you go.
And sci-fi horror, which is kind of fits perfectly into category. You definitely check out Ed Wood. It's totally worth it. And then check out some Ed Wood movies. Like,
definitely.
You're gonna love them because they're so campy and corny and crappy. They're so good. Like Ed Wood, I'm glad he got his day in the sun.
Yes.
For this one. Let's move on to our next one, my friend. This film, oh my god.
This is the one I'm talking about. I've never seen this. You got to sell me on this.
If this clip doesn't sell you, I don't know what will, my friend.
Get out of here!
I'm sold.
1982's Basket Case, directed by Frank Herrenlotter, who did Brain Damage, Frankenhooker, the two sequels to Basket Case 2 and 3, and Bad Biology. This film stars Kevin Van Hentenryck, God, his name is long, Terry Susan Smith, and Beverly Bonner, and a budget of $35K. Now, I always was thinking about doing this film for 31 Days of Horror, but it's never, because this film's talked about a lot in terms of cult films. It's always mentioned. So I try to like incorporate that into when I'm doing the month. But this film is just ridiculous, just for the fact that there's this guy who just goes around carrying this basket everywhere. And nobody's really asking him what's in the basket, but when they finally do, they end up dead. And the reason it is because it's basically his twin that was sexually attached to him, and they're removed. His twin named Belial. That's what it is. Tell him the best part is in this film, all of Belial's movies except that one spot you saw are in stop motion because they had such a low budget. The director had to do stop motion of him moving around, trashing stuff, and whatnot. It's just ridiculous. There's a part where like he's feeding Belial like pieces of pizza dropping into the basket. It's just so random. He's always trying to hook up with somebody, and Belial gets pissed because he can speak to each other telepathically, and he ends up killing them by like clawing their face. It looks so cheap. Even the Basket Case 2, which is not a great movie, he like it had an up budget for more Belial's looks and more of his movements, which was cool. But the kills are always so ridiculous because he just claws at their face, and I'm like, just punch Belial on that. He's not that strong. But if you haven't heard of this one, definitely check this film out because it's totally out there. The concept is totally like bonkers. I remember the first time I saw this, I was like, what the hell? Belial looks so disgustingly creepy. Great design. He looks like a mishmash of like potatoes. Is what he reminds me of.
Not wrong.
And Kevin Van Henryck is a ridiculous like creep in this film that apparently women are attracted to, which I'm like, what the hell? It's a typical horror film that makes no sense, but it's just so bad it's good.
You sold me on it, man. I've always wanted to know about this movie. I've seen the box since I've been a kid, but I was always like, what the hell is this? There's another movie that kind of, you ever see It Lives?
Yeah.
That like, what the hell? These are movies that I'd always seen the box as a kid, and it was just like almost like Rosemary's Baby to like the 20th degree, which I love Rosemary's Baby, but like but now that you describe that this is a brother, this even is more exciting for me than I thought it was just some creepy thing going around, but knowing that this is the dude's brother and he's like, that's kind of a cool plot.
Yeah. So the director here, he did Frankenhooker, which is basically a hooker that was put together by all these parts that was
I've heard about that one.
He was filming Basket Case 2 when he did that one. He does a film called Brain Damage, and it's about this little like alien creature that basically attaches itself to the brainstem of a guy and gives him endorphins if he feeds it. And like he basically, does what it tells him to do. The best part is in that film, there's actually a cameo by Dwayne, the main character of this film. He comes in with a basket, which I thought was kind of hilarious. But Yeah, Belial completely out there, ugly as hell. His scream is really, really like nails on a chalkboard. But just that scene where I showed you where he just like got mad at him and like reached him, made him raise him to the top, cracks me up. It's
So is that his brother he was raising right there?
yeah, that's his brother. It's
Oh.
Dwayne. He was pissed off at Dwayne. That's why he's trying to kick those people out of his room because he's in a hotel. He has a lot of money too. You gotta watch it, man. It's
I got it.
ridiculous. It's like
It
a
sounds
it's like
right
it's a
up my
horror
alley.
comedy. It's like not to be taken seriously.
That sounds right up my alley.
Yeah, check it out. So if you haven't seen it, check out Basket Case. It's a total B movie love. But with that, so man, we were racing through this episode. I got a nice little scene for you for your next film.
Ooh.
Get back! Wait,
Oh, wrong one. But here we go. That part always makes me laugh. Fuck! Oh, man. Directed by Stephen Herrick, Critters 1986. Stephen Herrick also did Bill and Ted's Excellent Adventure, Don't Tell Mom the Babysitter's Dead, The Three Musketeers, Rockstar, and The Mighty Ducks. I totally forgot all these films this guy directed. He did some good ones. It stars Dee Wallace, Emmett Walsh, Billy Greenbush, Billy Zane in one of his first films, Natalie Van der Vliet, and Scott Grimes in one of his first films. You might know him from what's that show with Seth, the guy from Family Guy, space show.
Oh, I know what you're talking about. I don't know the name of it though off the top of my head. I've never
He's in
watched
that show. He's the redheaded guy.
Oh, I know. Yes. I know what you're talking about. Oh, he's good. In this.
So this is a film that made $2 million. Had a budget of $2 million and made a box office of $13 million. Tone,
Orville.
tell me
Orville.
Orville. Thank you.
you,
Orville.
Sam.
Orville. He's in Orville. Tell everybody about Critters, man.
Critters is like a bastard of Gremlins, pretty much. Like it's the time period where, you know, a movie comes out, it's successful, so then they try to come up with something that's kind of like it, but kind of different. This movie, I love the poster here. The critters coming from outer space are great, and what I like is the way they would turn into balls and spin almost like Sonic the Hedgehog. As a kid, when you watch these movies, being again 8, 9, or 10, this is like your wheelhouse, man. I mean, these are like little creatures. They're cool, as you're seeing. They're cussing, and really just interesting in a way. What I remember a lot is the cool space guys coming down to try to hunt them is what I remember. And I also remember they would like turn into like these like almost like glow sticks too. It was just, there was a lot of
they had like no faces.
it was like really like it was creepy in a way to me also as a kid. The critters didn't creep me out. Like that creeped me out, which will always kind of stick with me. But when you're going through B movies, and generally little creatures are always going to, you know, make the cut. You know, we could have went with Puppet Masters. We could have went with a lot of little creatures. I'm not going to give it away, but I think you got some cool stuff coming up in the horror things that's going to have maybe a little creature with a little knife. You know, you just never know what you're going to have here. But in this here, it's just, I like their hair too. If you notice right there on the screen, the one's got like slicked hair and one's got like more like spiky hair. They're cute.
Yeah, they're so I remember seeing this movie when I was younger, and I was like, what the hell is going on? Because the beginning, they escape from the prison.
Mm-hmm.
And then you have like the space like bounty hunters coming to get them. And you're like, okay. And then the bounty hunters get these their face, you know, kind of made up, and it's just like they come down to hunt them, and they land in this farmhouse, and you got Billy Zane trying to hook up with the daughter, and you know the dad there, and all this crazy shit just happens like randomly. On top of that, you know, speaking of the bounty hunters without faces, I always thought when I first watched this film, I watched this film after I saw Dick Tracy, and I'm like, I always thought like they were the question mark. I forget what his name is. The character from Dick Tracy, the blank.
True
blank.
story. I could find as a kid, we could find every Dick Tracy figurine, but we could not find the blank. So I'll always remember the blank. But you're right, that is exactly what they look like, the blank. That's good.
Yeah, that's what I thought it was, and I'm like, oh man, no, are they related? Is the blank an alien? And I'm like, oh no, this movie came out before that. So definitely the characters have a lot of moxie, and they're hilarious. The fact that they have the language that it's kind of like a mixture of Japanese and French is great. I love the fact they have that. Another thing too is these characters are created by Chiodo Brothers, and people who don't know who the Chiodo Brothers are, they're the ones who did Killer Clowns from Outer Space. They did the Puppeteers for that stuff. They were that kind of got them kind of bigger. This film came out a little bit before that, but they used their gifts for that, and then they basically were like the kings of the, I guess, when you need somebody to have good special effects for a lower price, you call the Chiodo Brothers, and they did Critters, they did Ernest Scares Stupid, which I thought they did a really good job in that film. They did Team America. They were the puppet art director for that film, which is a South Park production. Night of the Little Dead. They did like little things like that. King Cobra. They did a lot of B movies, but they created the Critters. And then, do they do the ball in this film? I can't remember. I haven't watched this one. Do they do the Critter ball in this film?
Who, the Chiodo Brothers?
No. The Critters. They do the big ball in this film.
Yeah.
Or is it the second one? Well, there's a part where they like turn to a ball and they basically kill somebody, turn them all
Yes,
into.
yes,
Okay,
yes,
so it's this
yeah,
one. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that part I always thought was cool, how they just roll over somebody and it's basically their skin is gone and like that because they ate them all.
They do a
Yeah.
lot of cool, like that's where Gremlins didn't get as graphic, where Critters gets a little more graphic.
Yeah, Critters is like the Gremlins that are 10 times from hell. Like they're always bad. They just
Yeah.
look so creepy. This guy right here on the left looks like Paul Sorvino.
Well, that's what was cool. What was cool was that I believe the guy on the right too, like they were like, when they were trying to figure out what they were going to look like when they came to Earth, like a music video from MTV was on, and that's what the guy looked like. So like, that's why they got these ridiculous looks. And I think the other guy was like a TV show maybe, and like that's where it was like, oh, this is what we're going to come to Earth. So when people saw them, they were like, is that the rock star? No, it's the bounty hunter.
So I'm gonna give you the body count for this film.
All right.
1 cow,
Okay.
2 humans, 8 critters, 1 goldfish, and several chickens.
Interesting. Not too high.
Oh my god, Billy Zane's awesome in this film too. Billy Zane, man.
What I mean, everything I pretty much have seen him in, he brings it to another level.
Oh yeah.
Really, I mean, very, very sad news. The divorce of Nicole Kidman this week. She's in a great movie with Billy Zane called Dead Calm. It's them two and Sam Neill. They're on a boat, and Billy Zane is like, he's the ultimate creeper, man. I mean, he's definitely great in Demon Knight. He's great in so many. Titanic. He carried
that's his
Titanic.
favorite role, Demon
damn
Knight.
it. Is it? That's awesome. That's
He's
awesome.
also in he's in Back to the Future as a small role in there. Just like he also was like in the he tried to dip his toe in the superhero realm with the Phantom.
He owes me for that. My mom, I made my mom take me to go see that. Billy Zane owes me. I was there in the theaters to see the Phantom, so I was one.
Yeah, Billy Zane, man. That was another like weird run. How they had the Phantom, and then what was the film with Alec
Shadow?
Baldwin? The
The Shadow. I saw that one too at the movie theater.
The Avengers, the British one that
Yep.
was based off a TV
Yep.
show.
Yep.
And then they had not Gabriel Bryan, the guy from Suits.
Gabriel Mock?
Manchin.
Mock?
Gabriel Mock. He
Mock.
plays the Spirit in 2008's film.
Oh, yes, that's right.
With Samuel L. Jackson. That was kind of shot like a Sin City kind of look.
That was. You're right.
And that film wasn't that great, but it was directed by Frank Miller. Yeah, the Spirit.
What I always thought was cheesy about the Shadow with Baldwin was like, okay, it's Alec Baldwin. Then he puts on the mask and like his nose like narrows. Like it was really kind of cheesy in a way, but Treat Williams was the bad guy in the Phantom, and I thought that was ridiculous.
Oh man, Treat Williams. Oh, Scarlett Johansson's in the Spirit.
There you
Wow.
go. I don't know why it didn't do well then.
Oh, they must have not pushed her too much. Gabriel Mock. He's always will be Harvey to me.
There you go.
Yeah. So Harvey couldn't do well in the spirit world, but he did well in Suits as Harvey Specter. Yeah. But back to Critters. Check out Critters if you want to see like stuff that took from the Ghoulies, that basically took from Gremlins and made it better.
Yes.
And they had like 4 sequels, and they're all bad,
Ghoulies.
but
You ever
they're
see
they're
Ghoulies?
good bad. Oh yeah,
Is that a good one?
Ghoulies. It's B. It could have been a B level horror film,
Okay, gotcha.
but yeah, check it out.
Awesome.
But with that, Tone, we're rolling along here. Let's go into our final 2 here. We'll go into my final one with this one.
Let me ask you something. Does this thing scare you? Yes. Would you like it if I took this thing and made straight for your goddamn incisors? No. It hurt, right? You'd scream, right? Well, get your ass in there!
1986 Little Shop of Horrors, directed by Frank Oz, who did the score, The Dark Crystal, House Sitter, What About Bob, The Stepford Wives, Bowfinger, and Dirty Rotten Scoundrels. It stars Rick Moranis, Vincent Giardina, Levi Stubbs, and Ellen Green. This movie had a budget of $25 million and made a box office of $39 million. Caitlin and I played a little slot machine, but I've never seen the film. Yeah, so Sam, this film is based off a 1960 film that, has the same premise of basically a guy who has a plant, a Venus flytrap that basically tries to help him with his love life, but while doing so, convinces him to feed it humans, which he does, and it gets bigger and bigger and bigger, and it's like it's a musical. This is a horror movie. It's a B-level horror movie because that's what the first film, the Little Shop of Horrors, was. It's a B-level horror movie. This film, to me, is just great because you have such great actors in it. With Rick Moranis, comedy gold. Rick Moranis is always great as playing the nerd, outsider, weirdo guy. You have cameo appearances by Steve Martin. You got John Candy in this film. You even got your boy Jim Belushi in this film.
Yeah.
You have Bill Murray is in this film as well as the patient to the sadist dentist Steve Martin, and it's just that part always cracks me up because he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna pull," like he pulls out all these sharp instruments, and Bill Murray is I guess masochist, whatever the fuck it's called. He loves pain.
Oh yes, masochist.
Masochist. There you go. And Steve, I can't see my pronunciation is horrible.
No,
and Steve Martin loves to dish out pain, but he's not used to people loving it. And Bill Murray gets all excited when he shows him all of these things. He's like, "Oh, ah," and it's like one of the more famous scenes. But the artwork for this film, the puppeteering, the way the giant plant looks, is just awesome, man. The music's pretty good too, if you're into that. This film has spawned Broadway plays even before there was Broadway, but this film made it even more popular. So this is always like a go-to for Broadway whenever it runs. It's even done very, very well there. A lot of the wardrobe in this film was made from props that were like basically sourced from New York thrift stores, which I thought was pretty crazy. Mean Mother from Outer Space was the first nominated Oscar song with profanity. You gotta check this film out if you haven't seen it. Tone, what do you think about Little Shop of Horrors?
I mean, again, you I'm not a big musical guy. That's probably my least favorite film genre. But I love everything about this movie as a musical. Because to me, when cool plants are singing, and to me, since I've been a little, honestly, since 87, 88, I've always wanted a Venus flytrap because of this movie. But they're nothing like this. Like, I mean, I'm literally like, they're very slow, and I'm always like, oh, I love Audrey. I really like that Levi Stubbs is the voice. I'm a big Four Tops fan. So that being the voice in this movie, I think is just really awesome. Rick Moranis is great. Steve Martin is great. It's got, again, it's as far as a movie go too, it's got a real cool B movie flavor to it, which we talk about a lot. And honestly, it holds up. The puppeteering holds up. The movie holds up. It's not dated in any way. And it's actually be a fun little Halloween movie to watch in the fun department as opposed to the scary department. Because I like it. I like the little story. I like the way it ends. I think it's just a really cool, fun little picture.
Yeah, Sam says that it's kind of hard for them to find to stream. Now, it is in on Prime, but you have to rent it for $4.99 if you want, Sam. Just a heads up. But it's on Prime for $4.99 to rent, or you can buy it for God knows how much. But yeah. Check it out. Definitely worth it. The funny thing is, the character of Audrey, which is the Venus Flytrap's name from space, they were originally, her name's Audrey too, or its name's Audrey too. They wanted Rodney Dangerfield to do the voiceover. And I'm like, I love Rodney, but there's no way he could have taken the place of our man from the Four Tops, man. He sings in it, and he's great in it, and
we give it a different vibe. I mean, we love
yeah.
Rodney. Rodney's one of my favorite of all times, but the movie would just have a different vibe.
But I definitely highly recommend you guys to watch this if you haven't. Definitely worth it. Definitely worth as far as a musical. Sorry, my son came in here.
Oh,
as far as a musical, he's got Pokemons.
Oh, awesome! You went to the you're so funny. As we drove by it, and I was going to ask you, I was like, "Do you or your wife or your son like Pokemon?" And then they were actually there. That's awesome, dude. Nobody will feed me. I don't get no respect. Don't worry, Sophia stuck in here a while ago, and I kind of like gave her a hug and a kiss. So it's
nah, he's like, he wanted to tell me that my mother-in-law's gonna text him when she gets home.
Oh, okay, sounds good.
Yeah, just if you like musicals, this is probably be on top of one of your top musicals. There's only 2, maybe 3 musicals that I really like. Well, you know what? 4. The producers, the original producers, this film, The Pick of Destiny, and the Rocky Horror Picture Show are like the 4 musicals that I really, really like. Everything else,
those are all valid to like. I mean, I could.
And they're all different in certain ways. But if you're a fan of musicals, check it out. If you're not a fan of musicals, maybe this one will get you into some of them somehow. A lot of weird characters, a lot of great cameos by a lot of comedy, royalty in this film. So be sure to check that out. But Tone, let's close it out with your film here, my friend.
I kick ass for the Lord.
1992's Dead Alive or Brain Dead, directed by Peter Jackson, who did the Lord of the Rings trilogy, the Hobbit trilogy, both Tony's favorite films, King Kong, The Lovely Bones, The Frighteners, as some of the films he's done. Stars Tony Blamey, Diana Penaviller, Elizabeth Moody, and Stuart Devaney. Man, these names are ridiculous. Had a budget of $3 million and a box office of $242K. Tell people why they should watch Brain Dead.
I love doing this show with you because it's like all it is like a time machine for me. Because you're like, well, what brings you to Dead Alive? And what brings me to Dead Alive is my dad reading the article in the paper and saying, there's a scene where the guy got a lawnmower and he starts grinding people up. It sounds amazing. We got to rent it. And I go to like the local video store and I like rent this movie. And honestly, this movie was really out there the first time I watched it. What I like about it, though, is to think that this is Peter Jackson, the one who's done all these other movies. He reminds me a lot of my comparison to Robert Rodriguez earlier, because I feel like he's tied himself up in some movies that for too long, and he's left some movies on the floor. But this movie in itself is very good in the horror department because there's some really B-movie stuff in this movie. Some out there characters. This one here on the screen, I'm going to show you here, this baby here in the movie. Um,
Oh God.
you could
Yeah.
you could see Peter Jackson starting to get his just like what he wants to do with FX in the early parts. What I like is I believe this is the movie right before The Frighteners. Um, so I mean that's a big jump to go from this and The Frighteners, and The Frighteners is actually a great movie. This movie is like the scene I was describing earlier with the lawnmower going through the people and it's like grinding up all over. I mean, it's not like scary he's doing it. It's like ridiculous because he's doing it to zombies. He's not like doing it to real people because there's a lot of zombies in this movie. There's a lot of gore. It is, but just straight up ridiculous film.
Yeah, so I did this film. Was it last? I did last year's 31 Days of Horror. They kind of all blend in together when you keep doing them. This is actually the goriest horror film ever made, which is ridiculous. I think for this film, if not mistaken, there was over 300 liters of fake blood used for it. I know that the lawnmower, they said like it pumped out like 5 gallons. I think I have that. Yeah, 5 gallons of fake blood when it was. So it's definitely bloody. It's completely out there. Like the beginning little cold open I showed you. There's a priest that fucking fights these zombies, and he says he kicks ass for the Lord. He eventually gets turned, and then like does some crazy shit with another turned person. They're like there's zombies, or they have some disease, and that's what this baby's affected with that bites the mom, and the mom becomes this crazy lady, and
it was just so crazy.
It's just so out there. Like you wouldn't think Peter Jackson, an Oscar-winning a director, would do this, but it is so out there. Like Eli Roth has said that he watched this film. Eli Roth has like a big, like he likes to have a lot of blood in his films. He said this film quenched his bloodlust. I think it's the only film that truly quenched his bloodlust. And I mean, there is blood all over this film. Extremely bloody, extremely violent. I don't know how this did not get an X rating. It's like so bad, but it's so fucking out there and crazy. It's not scary at all. It's just like you're playing one of those video games where the zombies keep coming and they keep coming weirder and weirder. That's just basically what it reminds you of. Like hordes of zombies is coming at you.
It's like almost reminds me of like Tim Burton in a way was like shot up with like thousands and thousands of milliliters of steroids and just saw the light for a little bit. This is exactly what that film would look like. Just really out there, really, really out there, really gory, but not like dark. You know what I mean? Like you said, it's not like scary. It's more ridiculous.
Yeah.
But it gives you this feeling to say, this is the guy who did The Hobbits. Wow, that's crazy, man.
Sort of killed Frodo's ass.
Yeah, I mean, really. I mean, when you go back tonight or whenever you sit down and watch The Wraith, let's take for instance, you'll be like, this guy should have probably did Lord of the Rings, not the guy who did Dead Alive. I mean, Dead Alive's great, but I can't believe they gave that guy more movies to do that were, and he's, you know, an Oscar-winning director, so it's crazy.
Yeah. Just crazy. I mean, it didn't make a lot of money, but in New Zealand, where Peter Jackson's from, it earned more per screen than Batman Returns.
Interesting. Look at that.
But yeah, definitely check this film out. It's completely out there. If you're not good with gore, then do not check this film out because it's got a lot of it. A lot of disgusting stuff, and you're like, what the fuck? It's one of those films where you're like, what the hell I just watched? And you're like, I gotta watch it again because you gotta figure out what it was. But those are our 10 horror movies. I keep calling them B level, but they're B graded horror movies. Let us know if you have any in the comments. Shout out to Castellar Daniel Garcia. He gave us some good ones here.
Good.
The Forgotten One with Terry O'Quinn, Nomads, The Midnight Hour, Lady in White, Night Flyer. It's a Stephen King film. Byzantinium, The Shed, Jacob's Wife, and Near Dark, which we have talked about with Mailman Jack.
That's a good one.
Shout out to Mailman Jack. He will probably be on in a future episode coming up. We hope he's doing well. Before we get to the Sugar Baggy soundtrack pick of the week, Tone, just want to thank everybody for watching, listening, reviewing. If you haven't done so, please leave us a review on your podcast app. It helps us get out to more people about our show and helps our show grow. If you are watching on YouTube, we have our little QR code in the corner if you want to go to our shop and look at our stuff we got there. Mix of stuff, not just podcast stuff, a lot of other stuff on there too, from shirts designed by me, my wife, and stuff to do with us, or the Penguin brand, but other stuff with that. Be sure to check that out. Shout out to Caitlin and Sam for buying some of the coffee. Caitlin said it was pretty decent. I liked it, but I mean, it's my own product, so I can't say it was bad. But Sam says buy some coffee. But thank you for everybody for watching and listening and doing all that good stuff. Tone, what's happening on the hookup?
We're going to dig into this month. We're going to try to find some more cool, scary music to talk about. We've been listening to this band called The Cramps. I've really been listening to this band a lot, Yump. I'm going to send you an album later. They're kind of punk, but they're not really. They're like goth mixed in. They're called The Damned. There's some really awesome stuff with some keyboards I think you're going to love, especially being a huge, awesome 80s fan. So we're going to be digging into that stuff. And we're going to have some guests coming up. So please just keep tuning in. And please tune into those 30 days of horror things. Because, man, if you love horror, there's some really good ones coming up because you sent me that list and I'm pretty excited.
Yeah, check them out. I release them every day. Tomorrow's gonna be a little bit later. Unfortunately, I had 15 saved in the can when I went to go work on them. They were corrupted, so I had to re-record them. The Cramps is a good listen when you're dealing with your period. It might be.
Which is funny because when Katie was like, she's like, what are you listening to? And I go, I give you a hint. It's what you get when you have your period. And she goes, a cramp? And I go, yes, the Cramps. So, Sam, we're on the same page. So, appreciate that.
But also, what's going on the James Bond pod?
We will be back this week with what sounds like is one of Adam's most favorite James Bond movies, The Spy That Loved Me. So that will be good to hear that. He's also written an awesome article about that brand new Leonardo DiCaprio flick. I actually read that today while I had a second at work. Was very, very interesting read. It sounds like an awesome movie, so I'm definitely want to check that out when I get an opportunity. And you guys did a really good frame to frame this past week. What was that about?
Yeah, we did the House on Haunted Hill, the 1959 version versus the 1999 version, which we both agreed the 1999 version was better than the 59 version, which I thought was pretty crazy. Check that out. Me and Cotton will actually be coming back this week while you guys are recording. Are you guys doing James Bond Wednesday?
Yes.
Okay, while you guys are recording James Bond Wednesday live, we'll be recording our episode for Frame to Frame because I can't do it this weekend.
Cool.
We're going to actually be doing the original Toxic Avenger versus the new Peter Dinklage Toxic Avenger. So we'll be doing those two films this Wednesday.
Have you watched the new one yet?
Yes, I watched the new one.
What is it? Okay, don't say. Is it? You didn't get. I took it down. Never mind. You're good.
Okay.
Tell me when it's over.
Yeah. Check that out. That'll be releasing on the weekend. 31 Days of Horror, we're releasing every day around 9 and 10 a.m. I'll have those out all through October. Be sure to check out all our stuff, hook up our music. The Drafty Pod just had a wrestling Mount Rushmore with the two bums, Joey P and Dougie Fresh, as well as our guy Shankster to go along with Brian to do that show. And he had a hook up on music hybrid with you.
Yeah, and he's actually coming back this Tuesday, and I will be on that show again. Mm-hmm. We will be drafting the Beatles. Best album, best song, favorite cover by a Beatles, or somebody covering a Beatles song. There's some really good ones of that.
So I have to ask you a question.
Yeah.
Which version is better? The Beatles Come Together or Aerosmith?
Now, I'm not gonna lie, I definitely enjoy Aerosmith's version of Come Together. I like the Beatles. I mean, I'm gonna go with the Beatles because it's the original, and I might be struck down by the rock and roll gods if I didn't. But since I've been like 10 or 11, I've always listened to the Aerosmith version, and I like it a lot too. There's a third version that if you ever get a chance to check out, it's by the Brothers Johnson in the mid 70s, and it gives a really good funky bass to it too. It's a cool song. But you know, I like both versions. But I'm interesting to hear this week because Jackie's going to be on there, and so is Brian's wife is going to be on there too. So I'm interested to hear what their picks are going to be.
Yeah, that's actually an awesome panel. The reason I ask is because, to believe it or not, the Aerosmith version was the first one I heard. My dad had the greatest hits tape. This is back when Walkmans were popular.
Yeah,
And
the
I
one with the
listened-
red. Was it the one with the red cover and it had like Aerosmith? I had that too.
Yeah, Back in Saddle was on the side 2,
Yep.
and Dream On was on side 1.
Yes,
And that's where my love of Last Child came.
that's my favorite. One of my favorite songs, man. I love that
But
song.
Come Together was always one. And, yeah, and then I prefer the Aerosmith version just because that's the first song. But I think both of them are great. You might.
We'll have to talk about Aerosmith sometime, Yump. I didn't know you got down with Aerosmith that way.
Oh yeah, Aerosmith's like one of my favorite bands.
I love Aerosmith.
But yeah,
Cool.
great. And then like we could talk about covers forever, but covers I think are better than the originals. Like She's Not There by the Zombies. People think of that, but
Yeah.
Santana did a cover of that song.
That's a great version. by Santana, too.
Malcolm McLaren, I think, did a cover of that song for Kill Bill 2, which is like a more techno, not really techno, but like sampled song that has him in a slower singing, which I liked a lot. You like that one?
Yeah, definitely. I got something here real quick before we get to the soundtrack pick of the week. I'm gonna play you this sound clip, okay?
Mhm.
And you probably have never heard this because I never heard this until 3 weeks ago. But I want you to you're gonna get you just try to guess to think of who this is. Okay, are you ready? Here we go. Oh, that's one part. Now, I won't even let you guess.
It's
Sean,
Basketball Jones, so right? It's Basketball Jones.
Yeah, you know that?
Yeah, that's Barry White, right?
Cheech and Chong.
Is it really?
Yeah, which
Okay.
never heard it before in my life. I'm driving home the other day. XRT plays that song. Now, when you get off of this, even before you do the Wraith, blast Basketball Jones by Cheech and Chong's in your ears and listen to that song. And it is probably one of the most genius things I've ever heard. Cheech Marin sings in a high falsetto the whole entire song. And it just shows my appreciation more. I know how much you love Cheech and Chong. That's why I'm going off on this tangent and how cool Cheech and Chong are, because their albums in the 70s were awesome. So check that out.
So
please.
Yeah, awesome stuff. The crazy thing is, the reason I said Barry White is because in Space Jam, the film, Barry White and Chris Rock do a song, Basketball Jones, in there, where Barry White does the voiceover.
Now what they could have been doing back then is mocking, because that whole song that they're singing about there, the Cheech version, if you listen to it, is like a basketball player singing about how he can't stop dribbling, and then next thing you know, the cheerleader starts singing in the song. It gets more cheesy. I'm now curious to know when I get off of here, and I'm going to talk about it now on the show, is I'm going to research the Barry White version that you're talking about and tune into the show, and we'll see if there is a connection, because that would be interesting if there is.
Yeah, it has nothing. It has like basketball. It's just basically him talking. I think there's a part in the song where he's like asking like, Barry, do you want some chicken? It's like stuff like it's like basically a monologue. Like he did the No Sex in the Champagne Room. It's kind of like that.
That's funny.
If you know that. But enough of me blabbing. Let's go on to the Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week, so we can get you guys out of here.
The Sugar Baggies soundtrack pick of the week.
Oh.
All right. We decided to go with a newer soundtrack this week, because really this past year, I mean, I can't really talk more highly about this film and how much I've enjoyed it. I wish I got more time in my life because I'd watch it a lot more. I just like the way it looks. I think more than anything, I like the way the style of the film is, and more importantly, I really like the music in this movie. they do a really, really good job, very well, of just filming what they wanted to do, and with the music in the movie just kind of does a good job of sealing that. We've talked about it on the show here, From Dusk Till Dawn. This movie's like, to me, like a 1940s Dusk Till Dawn. Not with the titty twister, because that's a one of a kind, but for this one, definitely I think the music in which Ryan Coogler picked for the film definitely was really, really good in its own way. Because when you're making a movie like this, you're definitely going to want to say, oh, the soundtrack has to match with what you're doing. And I mean, there's a lot of songs in this. I like Wayne Dang Doodle. Wayne Dang Doodle is the song. Definitely really, again, and the whole subplot with the guitar. So there's music mixed into the movie too. Not just on the soundtrack, which I thought was really, really cool. Flames of Fortune is really good. This Little Light of Mine is always really good. Plays very well in this movie. Traveling is really good. From what I was reading, I mean, as far as soundtracks go in the recent years, did pretty well. I mean, a lot of people enjoyed the soundtrack. They went out and bought it. It had a really cool blues underneath. This is the coolest thing I can say is, if you are a fan of the band Metallica, they have a song called One. Ryan Coogler described that that's what he wanted this pacing of the movie to be like that song, where it kind of starts slower and then it builds to like an explosion, comes back down, more explode. And honestly, if you watch the movie and think of it like that, it's kind of a cool little innuendo. But again, just great music. And I can't sometimes help but watch this movie and kind of get jealous of the Buffalo Bills quarterback, considering he's now married to Haley Steinfeld, who she's just really awesome in this movie. So check it out if you haven't. And the music does a really good job.
Yeah, Haley Steinfeld from True Grit.
Yeah, I almost messed that up because I stopped myself. I was went Haley Steinfeld from No Country for Old Men, and then I go, no, it was True Grit in my head. So I actually stopped myself right before I spoke. But yes, she was good in True Grit.
Yeah, awesome in it. So this album actually reminds me a lot of Red Dead Redemption 2. If you I have it on vinyl. I highly recommend you check that album out, Tone. Red Dead Redemption 2.
I will definitely.
Yeah, it's
we talk about it on here.
It's good, some good stuff. But good soundtrack, man. Good one.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Before we roll out here, you excited to watch some playoff baseball, or are you kind of checked out because the Sox aren't in it?
So I did what? So I talked to a lot of Cubs fans. I am a ranter, which, a lot of my Cubs friends are with Danny Rocket and Cotton. That's how I got to meet Cotton. So I talk with those guys. I watch the games with them, just to, I give them a lot of shit too, but just to, I'm happy that the Cubs made it. I don't know if they're going to do too well against the Brewers. I think the Brewers are just overmatching for them. But I mean, if the Chicago team's involved, I'll watch it. Even when the Sox went to the World Series in 2005, when I wasn't a Sox fan, I still watched all the games. And was hoping the Sox would win just because it's Chicago. Yeah. So I'll watch it. I mean, there's no football this weekend. There's just baseball. For me anyway, the Bears don't play. Yeah. And the way these sports teams are looking, I guess the Cubs are the only good thing right now for the city of Chicago. So
that's true. Well, amen to that, my man. Amen to that.
So I mean, what about you? Are you gonna watch it?
Oh yeah. I actually had to stay later at work yesterday, but I literally got home with the last 2 outs when they had the guys on base, and they got out of that jam. And generally, for a long time, honestly, I'd become a different person, because probably for a good 10 years, I was voting for their demise every time they made it, just because I don't know why. I think it was because there was a time period, man, where you're looking at one of the more diehard Cubs fans, and they really pissed me off with what they did to Lou Piniella. That's what really drove me away, because I was like, man, you had some really good teams with Lou Piniella, and you went to the playoffs, man, and you blew it. And my brother-in-law was like, well, then come over to the dark side. Come over to the dark side. And I go, you know what? No one ever goes to be a Sox fan. Everyone wants to be Cubs fans. I go, fuck it. I'm burning all my shit. And I switched totally over to everything. And honestly, I caught a lot of shit from it. So my joke is always this. The Cubs are my ex-wife and the Sox are my girlfriend. And I always know what my ex-wife is up to. So yes, I will be watching tomorrow. And like I said to Katie, I might be getting back together with my ex-wife if they make it all the way to the world. No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah, you know what, to be honest with you, man, I'm at the point that I could give two shits about who you like. I'm not gonna tell you how to fan. You
That's
can
where
like
I am now. I used to be somebody, honestly. I'll never forget walking with my sister, and I had a Cubs hat on. And this we were at Rothbury Music Festival. A lot of bands are playing, and I'm walking with my sister, and this guy looks at me with my Cubs hat and goes, hey, douchebag, take off your hat. And I look over, he's got a Sox cap on, and dude, I lost it like I was like some kind of Wolverine over fucking baseball. You don't know! Cubs are better! And then next thing you know, when the Cubs were making the playoffs and I had my Sox hat on, I was like, douchebag, Cubs better! I realized, like my dad told me, he said this because he used to get super fucking pissed off at the Cubs. He said, these guys don't know you, man. They don't get pissed at you when your job sucks. So don't get mad at, and I'm just like, that's how you fan how you want to fan, have fun, enjoy the games, honestly, because even me watching Boston and the Yankees last night, I had a good time. I love watching all baseball, so it'll be fun.
Yeah, that's just the way I feel too. I'm not gonna tell you how to fan how you want, man. With that though, this is the end of the podcast.
Have a good night.
Yeah, just a heads up, we will not be back next week. I will be out of town, but be sure to check out the Hookup on Music, the James Bond show, frame for frame, and Getting Drafting here, as well as the 31 Days of Horror. So you got a lot of content coming out. Even though we won't be back, but we will be back in 2 weeks with another Halloween-themed episode. Until then, guys, we will see you then. Have a good night, and thanks again for listening and watching.
Thanks for listening to the At The Show podcast, a Sadistic Penguin Studios production.
Game over, man. It's game over. What the fuck are we gonna do now? What are we gonna do?
Maybe we could build a fire, sing a couple of songs, huh? Why don't we try that?